light. Some say it's a supernatural apparition, but modern science has been building a case that says the real culprit is the weather.
That was very bright.
Over the decades, thousands of people have visited this isolated spot to see the light for themselves. Local resident and author Andrea Message is one of the most dedicated followers.
I've been coming to the Paulding lights now for 5 years. Probably seen it maybe 300-400 times in those 5 years. This here is the infamous Paulding lights and the infamous viewing area. Right there you'll see a barricade, and at that barricade is where all the people gather to see the Paulding lights.
Andrea has seen several different types of light at the viewing spot, but one is the most frequent.
It's a giant ball of white light, and it can come out during the day, it can come out at night, it can come out basically any time. It would be shaped like a diamond, and it would lift up into the sky, it would come down to the ground, it would get smaller, 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 and it would wave and flicker and just disappear.
It's really funny. When they say dedicated follower, I just imagine that they think paranormal investigators are kind of like... Or maybe they think we're impartial cheerleaders, you know, like all excited that everything is paranormal and there's no other explanation, and we're all just kind of like, okay, like the Paulding lights, he's our man if he can't do it. No, I am a paranormal investigator, not a devoted fangirl. Hi guys, and welcome to the first episode of My Paranormal Life, starring me, Andrea Message, who is also known as the Paranormal Ronin. I have been a paranormal investigator for over 10 years, and I'm the author of the book Ghost in the Coal Cellar, True Case Files of a Lone Investigator, which is currently out of bookstores now or online on Amazon.com and BN.com. And as you can see in the clip, I also did a special appearance on a Weather Channel special called Strangest Weather on Earth 2, which is kind of what I wanted to do the first episode about. As you can see kind of in the beginning promo there, I wasn't exactly thrilled with being called a dedicated follower, as if like, you know, anybody who is into the paranormal is excited about the paranormal, which we are, but it almost sounds like we're just kind of, I don't know, like again, to me, it sounds kind of like this, like they look at us like this. Trick or treat. And I guess that's where I started to kind of feel a little bit like, I'm kind of feeling misrepresented here. Again, I'm very enthusiastic about the paranormal. I always have been. But I am a paranormal researcher first and foremost. And when it comes to being a paranormal researcher, we are not like, there's a story of a ghost and here's proof that why it's true and why it's haunted. We don't go somewhere to prove that there is a haunting. We go somewhere to research claims of a haunting and find other reasonable explanations for why these things might be occurring. And if we can't find man-made or natural reasons why these are occurring, then we kind of push it to the other side and start looking at other different things. We are researchers. We take things, and we, with a lot of us, I mean, some of us don't, but a lot of us take a scientific approach. The paranormal, by definition, is things that cannot be defined by scientific means at this time. And I say at this time because the goal of a researcher is to take the paranormal and one day make it something that we can consider normal, or at least scientifically be able to define it. And so we take a lot of scientific experiments. We actually use a lot of things that science has created, like the K2 meters and the Mel meter are basically a temperature gauge on the Mel meter along with an electromagnetic field reader. And people think because of like ghost hunters, K2 meters are just like, you know, these really spooky kind of like creations, when really they actually have legitimate uses in a technical field. Such as like a K2 meter would be used by an electrician. or a plumber looking for faulty wiring or faulty plumbing. So these are actual scientific devices that we use in our research, and we take a scientific approach. We take okay, this happened. Like, let's say I see a shadow on the wall right now. My first thing is going to be, is there a window over here? If there's a window over here, let's take and see, okay, you on my team, drive by with your car and the headlights on, and then drive by in the opposite direction. And then you on this team, stand there and see if the light hits you in a way that your shadow could be cast on the wall from outside. Because maybe there's a car driving by at the same time there's someone walking down the street. So it's not like oh, hey, that's a ghost. Yeah. It's very much like, I don't like to use the word debunking, but a lot of people understand that word because of ghost hunters and ghost adventures. So I'll say we do a lot of debunking. We try to find reasonable explanations for things that have happened to us. And if we can't find a reasonable explanation, we tick them off our list one at a time. And when all of the explanations have been worn out, then we put it in the potentially paranormal section. So it's not something like where, kind of like what I feel that they feel it is. To me, there is a lot of scientific means to paranormal research. And I guess kind of the one reason why I was a little upset was because when they first approached me, they had seen my videos on YouTube, and they left me a private message on my YouTube channel asking me to contact them because they wanted to use my videos. And I think all but one of the videos that was shown in the actual segment was they were all my videos, except for one. One of them I didn't recognize. So when they approached me to use the videos, I was very explicit. I said, you know, I am a paranormal researcher, and this is a legitimate field of research, and I will let you use the videos and any audio that I captured, any of the paranormal audio, but I wanted to be respectful to the paranormal point of view. I don't want it to be glossed over. I don't want it to be like, okay, some people believe that there's a supernatural reason behind the lights, and here's why they're stupid. You know, that kind of a thing. And I wanted them to be respectful of the legend of the lights themselves. Because this is a local legend that's been embedded in history since 1966, starting. And you have to forgive my lisp. I just had dental work. See? Had caps on my teeth. And it just feels so weird in my mouth. It's just so weird feeling. But so forgive me if I'm spitting a little, or if I'm, you know, because I'm not used to these things in my mouth. But it's been embedded in history since 1966 was the first documented sighting of the Paulding lights. But they say there's been cases since the turn of the century. In fact, a lot of people say that it's a very spiritual place for the Lakbu Desert tribe, which is the Native American tribe in that particular area who've been there since the 1800s. So I wanted them to be respectful because not only to the lights, not only to the paranormal field, which is a legitimate field of research, because just like anything with science, it doesn't exist until they prove it does. So just because science hasn't proven that ghosts do exist and that there is scientific evidence to prove this, it doesn't mean that we won't be able to in the future. So show a little respect to our field of research, but also to the people. It's disrespectful to the people to go in and say, this is what the lights are. Case closed, mystery solved, we've gotten everything figured out. You know, because that's not respectful to the people of the area, to the natives of the area, or to the people who believe in the Paulding lights. Also, another thing, it's funny because they use like 5 seconds of me, probably because I am a paranormal researcher. And you know, us paranormal researchers, if we're not like doing Ouija boards and weird like demonic chanting, we're usually paranormal cheerleaders or something, you know. Okay, But when I actually did the interview, I was out there for 2 hours, and you saw how I was dressed, okay? Did you see the snow on the ground? It was like 33 degrees, and I was there for 2 hours, okay? And they were interviewing me. They acted like they were very interested in the paranormal angle. They asked different questions about the paranormal. I explained to them that the lights in the distance are car lights. Everybody who is knowledgeable in Paulding lights already know that. Michigan Tech University was out there and they were able to disprove that the lights way off in the distance were paranormal or anything other than car lights. I said in my book, if you look at Ghost in the Coal Cellar, True Case Files of a Lone Investigator, my brother and his wife Jamie, my brother Andy, his wife Jamie, and myself, we have like a little mini team, the ghost siblings, if you will. We took a high-power telescope out there ourselves, and we verified at night, we verified at dusk, and we verified in bright daylight, nice, sunny, happy day, that there were car lights, or cars in the distance, and at night, car lights. And that was something that I acknowledged to them in an email. I acknowledged it to them on a phone interview and on site. I said that I took a high-power telescope, and we saw car lights. And kind of a little miffed that they didn't mention it. They call me a dedicated follower. Not even a dedicated follower. It's most dedicated follower. And didn't even mention that I had already debunked the particular lights that were in question. But I did tell them that there are other lights that are occurring at this site. And those are the real Paulding lights. They're not as frequent. In fact, they used a soundbite of me saying they come out every night, rain or shine, you know, the big light, it's a big ball of white light. What they neglected to continue on was me saying those are car lights. They cut that part out. Okay, because that I explained to them emphatically, and I have it in the email too, that those were car lights. And I said it on the phone, those were car lights. And I said it in the interview live, those were car lights. And they cut that out because they wanted me to be the most dedicated follower. Oh, again, I just feel. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. It just bugs me. I spent 10 years in paranormal research to be called a dedicated follower. You know, I mean, anyway, again, I'm digressing here. I'm sorry. But I explained to them about the different lights that were occurring at the Paulding lights. I said that in one occasion, there's a barricade that's like this. Okay, it's like, you know, there's like a long metal barricade. And you could see a clip of it in the beginning of the film, or in the video. And we were standing there there was other people there at the time, but we were setting up our telescope because we wanted to see the car lights in the distance during the daytime. So we could try and figure out positioning and how I would explain this in the book about the car lights. And as we were setting up, there is maybe 100 feet away, maybe not even 100 feet away. Like, if this is the barricade, my finger, this is where it would have been. Let me kind of, like, here's the barricade, and here's where the light appeared. I mean, you could kind of see it's not that far away. I mean, it was close enough that you could reach out and touch it, you know, like that, you know, just reach out and touch it. So what happened was, lost my train of thought all of a sudden. It happens a lot. Ever since I shaved my hair, as you could see, it's nice, and I had I had skin cancer in the past, and I was worried. I found a few things back here so I shaved my head off just to make sure, and everything's okay, so, you know, no worries about that. But it looks kind of cute still. I mean, if you bling it out a little bit, you know, get some bling bling on your eyes, you know, it could kind of look girly. But anyway, again, I'm digressing. But a red ball of light I'd say about this size, like maybe the size of my face right here, came out of the woods, not even 100 feet away. I mean, literally, again, close enough that you could probably walk up to it and touch it. And this was broad daylight. It was sunny. There were no clouds in the sky. All you saw was blue sky and sun and birds chirping. It was gorgeous. It was just a beautiful, beautiful day. And here comes this ball of light casting a glow on the ground. And unattached to anything, completely silent, and just gliding so gracefully. Because on the actual area where it came out of, there's no paths, walking paths, biking paths, it's dense forest there. And then there is like this little hill that has a very sharp decline. It's not like you could just go and gently like ride your bike down. Like if you tried riding a bike down, you'd either go flying like the General Lee or you'd crash. Because I mean, it's a very sharp slope. And it just kind of gently gliding, slowly glided down and stopped right in front of us. And everyone's just like, you know, like they're backing away like, holy crap. You know, like they're like, I mean, some people actually got scared and left. But then there was a smaller ball about this size, like maybe the size of a baseball. And it came slowly gliding out of the same side of the woods and stopped directly behind the bigger ball. And as soon as it was stopped behind the bigger ball, pew, shot off as fast could be. I mean, it was an inhuman speed. I mean, if you were on a bike or even in a speed car, you would not be able to gain that much speed and like instantaneously. I mean, even a car takes like at least a second to get from 0 to 80. I mean, this was like instantaneous, like so fast, and I've never seen something fly that fast in my entire life. And then I said, on another occasion when we were doing a paranormal investigation and we were concluding for the night, and my brother was packing up his stuff and his wife was packing up her stuff, I was going to go grab my camera, and when I looked down, there was a ball of green light, bright green, fluorescent green, standing on my foot. You know, you could actually see green glow, an eerie glow over my boot, and then on the surrounding snow, because this was more in wintertime. So you could see that the ball of light was emitting its own light all over the place on the ground. But it was not attached to anything. And it was so silent, I didn't hear it come and I didn't hear it go. And like I said, it was on my foot. So if it was attached to anything, my foot would have been, you know, in a lot of pain. You know, it would have been crushed. So I don't know to this day what that explanation was either. And I said, the lights are not necessarily paranormal in and of themselves. They could be a weather phenomenon that we do not quite understand yet. And then I went to explain about the corpse candle, which is when there's a certain amount of decaying vegetation matter in the vicinity where there's swamp gases, and then in the right atmospheric conditions, they could create these little glows, like little yellow balls of light. There's earthquake lights, which around here is not very common just because we don't get earthquakes in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And there was also ball lightning, which again, I said probably not. It's a very, very rare phenomenon. Usually follows or precedes a big storm. And when they like disappear, it's been described as sounding no less than 100 cannons blowing at the same time. And usually people who are near ball lightning lose a limb or die or get injured in some way. And obviously with it standing right on my foot and two of them standing like not even 100 feet away from us in broad daylight on a gorgeous, gorgeous day, completely silent, and nobody got hurt, so I don't think it was ball lightning either. The corpse candle, also known as the will-o'-the-wisp or the jack-o'-lantern, is a more likely theory, except for the fact that in winter, everything is frozen and then under like thick inches of ice, covered by feet and feet and feet of snow. I mean, if we have snow that's chest high, it's a mild winter. Okay, so I said that the plant life and the vegetation life are frozen. And these lights were seen in, like one was seen in fall, one was seen in the frozen of winter. So the atmospheric conditions are different. So I don't believe it's that either, but I'm not saying it's paranormal. It could still be a weather phenomenon that we don't understand and it warrants more investigation. But then they asked if anything paranormal did happen, and I stated yes. I said that we have EVPs of people talking. We have what sounds like Native American chanting. We have where we've been touched, we've been pulled down, we've had a snowball thrown at us from like literally just kind of off the ground and then just thrown at us, and there's nobody standing there to throw it. My brother and I were standing and we heard something in the ground, and so we turned our flashlights to the ground like, what the heck? And in this untouched part of snow where we weren't stepping or anything, it was just nice and flat snow, it started to imprint, and then you saw the imprint of a shoe. And so there were paranormal things happening there. But like I said, I don't know if the lights are paranormal or if there's spirits there that are watching the lights right next to us. So I was very explicit about that as well. The lights are not necessarily paranormal. They could be a weather phenomenon we don't understand, but there are spirits there. I really do believe there's something paranormal going on there, and maybe they're just watching as much as we are. Maybe they're just as interested as we are. So while I understand that this is a scientific show and they want to relate it to something with the weather, I thought they'd at least do a by the by that states maybe something like, scientists have found an explanation for the lights in the distance are car lights, and maybe even show that I said that they were car lights in the distance myself in my many emails and my interviews I did, like on the phone and in person. But again, that was kind of glossed over because I had to look like a dedicated follower. Okay, So I was a little upset when they did the case closed, mystery solved ending and didn't even mention any of the other mysteries going on. I mean, they could have just said, this mystery may have been solved, but there are other mysteries that are still need to be looked at. Or maybe did a by-the-by mention of the green balls of lights and the red balls of lights, or maybe even showed me, because I did say at one point, there are other lights that are appearing that come much closer. They chase people around. People see them going from one side to another. We don't know if it's weather related. It could be a phenomenon that maybe we don't understand, and that's what keeps me coming back to the Paulding lights, because I want to know more, and I want to learn more. Heck, they could have even said the name of my book, instead of saying local native, which I'm not a local native actually, but that's neither here nor there, and author. They could have said an author of the book, Ghost in the Coal Cellar, but yeah, they wanted to blow us off from the get-go. They wanted to take the paranormal, and once again, like I said, okay, and there you have it. If you want to know the true story of the Paulding lights, go to my website, which is right here, paranormalronine.blogspot.com, or it's here or here. I don't know. After this is all done, I'll see where I can place it so that it's readable. So it could be here, here, or here. I don't know. But paranormalronine.blogspot.com. You can also follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/paranormalronine. Again, it's somewhere around here. And I talk about the Paulding lights. You could also get my book, Ghost in the Coal Cellar, True Case Files of a Lone Investigator. It's a really great book. It talks more than the Paulding lights. It talks about a place called the First Ward Schoolhouse. It talks about a theater on Mackinac Island at a place called Mission Point Resort. It talks about a private investigation that I did. So there's a lot of great stories in there. I take you through an investigation. I kind of make you feel like you are an investigator. You see my investigation style. You see how I go through and try to rationalize things until I can come up with, is this natural or is this paranormal? You hear all the evidence as I'm going through the evidence. You can kind of feel like you're there with me, So I think it's a really great book for people who not only like ghost stories, because some of these stories are really intense, but it's also a great book for people who are interested in the legitimate field of paranormal research, because you will feel like you're really there on an investigation with me. Again, it's Ghost in the Coal Cellar, True Case Files of a Lone Investigator, and it is on sale currently on Amazon.com, BN.com, which is Barnes & Noble's website, or in bookstores. I actually saw it at my local bookstore. It was sold out twice at 2 local Barnes & Nobles in Milwaukee. So I'm really excited about that. It seems to be doing good in sales. But what's really good about it is if you're interested in the real story of the Paulding light, I give you the full aspect. I give you the yes, there are cars out there. I give you the pros, people who are believers in the Paulding lights. I give you the people who are not believers in the Paulding lights and the different theories they have as to what the lights are. We talk eyewitness accounts. I tell you about the EVPs I captured, about some of the things that we experienced personally, about the cars in the distance. And, like I said, it wouldn't be for the fact if I didn't send an email asking them to be respectful. And like I said, they emailed me back and they said that they were sorry that I felt like that I didn't like the episode. And they said, though, but you have to understand, we look at things from a scientific point of view. And, and they said that they talked to the people who were involved in the case, who no longer work for Pioneer, mind you. But they did talk to them somehow, and they said that they don't feel that I was misled whatsoever. And I'm just like, well, you're communicating with someone who's a paranormal investigator, who specifically says, don't do what you just did, which is basically make paranormal investigators look like, okay, and then kind of gloss over the whole paranormal angle. I want you to be respectful to the paranormal angle and to the actual legend of the lights and the people who live in that area. Don't just say mystery solved, which is exactly what they did. But I do have that in email. Here's the actual email.
It says, I'd be happy to grant you permission to use the videos and audio caught at the site for the program, as long as it is done tastefully and in a way that is not disrespectful to the paranormal angle or the belief of the Paulding lights. So I was very clear that I wanted it not only to be respectful to the paranormal angle, meaning don't gloss over the paranormal angle, don't make it sound like people who believe in the paranormal angle are, stupid or, anything like that. And then I said also, and not to be disrespectful to the belief of the Paulding lights, because there's a lot of people in this area and outside of the area who come to see the Paulding lights that truly believe that there is something paranormal going on here. We do know that there are car lights in the distance. That's something that's been proven by Michigan Tech University. I proved it myself. If you read my book, Ghost in the Coal Cellar, I do even mention about seeing cars and semis through a high-power telescope. But there is something else going out there that can't be explained, and I just didn't want that glossed over. I would have been perfectly fine with something like, so scientists believe that they found a explanation for how the car lights that are known car lights travel so far to be seen, but there are other mysteries at the Paulding lights that are still yet to be solved. I mean, that would have been a nice by the by, but at the end of the episode, they just say, mystery solved, all done. So I don't think that they did this at all, which was respect the paranormal angle and the belief in the Paulding lights, and be respectful of that. Saying mystery solved is definitely not respectful. It's in fact, I found it kind of disrespectful, because I went through, again, all of these different explanations with them that kind of showed them everything that was happening at the Paulding lights, which was besides the car lights that we know were the car lights. And yet they went there and they said, hey, mystery solved, nothing paranormal going on here. And so I think that was, I told them I did not want anything to be used unless they were going to be respectful to this angle.
It is what it is. I guess I can understand the Weather Channel's point of view, or I should say Pioneer TV's point of view. It is a weather-related show, and they do want to do something scientific about it and kind of relate it to the weather. But again, I'm not asking them to say it's paranormal. It would have just been nice to do a by the by. This mystery may have been solved by scientific means, and hopefully in the future these other mysteries may also be solved, because this is happening at the lights and this is happening at the lights, and perhaps we can one day tie it into a weather phenomenon as well. Or to just say this mystery is solved, but there are more mysteries yet at the Paulding lights that need to be explained. That even just a simple like that would have been. But anyway, thanks for watching my very first episode of My Paranormal Life with Andrea Message. That's me. Again, check out my book, Ghost in the Coal Cellar. And hopefully if you like this, give me a thumbs up, because I'll do more episodes in the future. Maybe talk to different paranormal authors, get some paranormal celebrities to do an interview, and take you on a few investigations. In fact, I have an investigation of a local museum coming up, and maybe I will record it and make an episode of My Paranormal Life for it. Only if you like this. If you like this and you want to see that investigation, then make sure you hit the like button. Leave me comments. And again, visit me at facebook.com/paranormalronine, or you can go here to paranormalronine.blogspot.com. So thanks again for watching, guys. Talk to you later. Where's the off button?
One of the most dedicated followers. One of the most dedicated followers. One of the most dedicated followers.
No, I am a paranormal investigator.